Hardware Canucks CES coverage is made possible by our partner NVIDIA. It is also made possible thanks to Corsair, Fantex, and NCIX. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Well, let me tell you, starting the day with a bunch of VR stuff was incredibly exciting. But first, there are a few updates to the NVIDIA Android TV ecosystem, starting with the Marshmallow 6.0 update, which brings new UI elements and a few things in the background that simplifies using the device. For example, now you can customize what type of apps show up in the recommended section, whereas before it was a bit more random. There's a new voice search system which shows up everything relevant to what you're trying to find, including apps and videos from the web, and it has been vastly improved for relevancy. Plus, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is coming to the Shield Android TV, which is slightly older 2013 title, but it's got all the same assets as from the consoles for no compromised graphics. And for the demo that we played, it was smooth, plus running off the Shield itself, quite impressive. Next, we had a chance to try out some incredible VR demos, starting with the Bullet Train. It is based off the Unreal Engine, utilizing the consumer edition of the Oculus with their touch controllers. And if you ever wanted to experience what it's like to slow down time, literally catch bullets out of the air and direct them back at your enemies, plus integrating a unique movement through teleportation, this is an amazing experience. This brings a whole new level of VR gaming where you literally need to perform the pickup action in order to hold a weapon, plus the entire aim system is reliant on your literal aim. These demos were running on the Titan X with really high frame rate, but with the consumer edition Oculus had the fantastic resolution with very low latency. We also had a chance to play the new title Adrift that will have full Oculus support, and the concept behind this game is that you're in a spaceship, something that looks very similar to the International Space Station, and something goes wrong on that station, so you maneuver through weightlessness on the ship, need to pick up oxygen as you use it up, and you can fully exit the station to enjoy an incredibly real view of the station in space orbiting Earth. This was again showcased on the consumer edition of the Oculus, which had a wider field of view than the previous iterations, extremely high frame rate, 90 plus all the way up to 140 frames per second, thanks to that NVIDIA GPU, and just super responsive head tracking as well. If there's a reason to buy the Oculus, I think the Adrift game is definitely on the main list. And we finally got a chance to experience the HTC Vive, which was a totally different VR experience thanks to these dual sensors positioned on each corner of the room, so you get to be placed inside a fully virtual world where you can walk around, all of your movement is registered, and one of the creative applications we got to try was 3D art that uses one of your hands as a brush while the other is your palette, so you can choose a bunch of different brush styles and sizes, choose new colors, have unique elements like creating leaves and snow and plasma and rainbow glow, but you're literally creating these in a 3D space environment, so it's almost like 3D printing in a virtual world, so you can walk inside the art to make sure a fantastic piece was made, and the joysticks were one-to-one responsive, which made the whole experience extra real. And then we also got to try out the Mount Everest simulation, where you're interacting inside the virtual world with your mind, thinking it is super real. So when you have to cross a small ladder between two pieces of ice on a glacier, my knees got weak, for real. It felt so real, especially if you're afraid of the heights. It was so immersive, even though I knew I was just, in a room with a bunch of sensors, but it's still incredibly impressive. So, what does NVIDIA have to do with VR? Well, their VR GameWorks aims to improve performance and optimization with hardware, is running both left and right eyes at high frame rate is extremely demanding, so utilizing things like multi-res shading, which reduces the demand on the graphics resources by rendering out the edge warped pixels of each eye at a lower resolution to improve performance. So VR gaming looks better than ever. It's awesome to have NVIDIA as one of the main hardware and software supporters for developers. We'll have more VR coverage with the launch of the Oculus very soon, so make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching our CES tour of the NVIDIA suite, and we'll see you in the next video.